Toss a coin to your witcher, O Valley of Plenty. This story is awesome. I just don't get where some things go. Alright, so let's talk about an entire season that I went through in like, I don't know, 4 days. Welcome to the heart of the stories we tell. My name is Rob, and tonight I will be reviewing The Witcher on Netflix. And now, this show I have a little bit of a problem with, but it's kind of amazing because I want to love it. Like, this is totally like right up my alley. This is like Xena and Hercules and all the fun fantasy shows. Yeah, it had some gratuitous nudity and adult stuff like Game of Thrones, and is way better than the last season of Game of Thrones. Not quite as good as season 1 or 2 of Game of Thrones, though. Overall, it's a really great story, and one that I didn't have a lot of exposure to. And maybe that's the problem. See, the world building, it had a lot to work with, and I didn't really get all of it. So I'm going to give this a silver rating. And there's a big part of me that really wanted to give it a gold. Like, really wanted to, because I really enjoyed it. But there's so much left out. In fact, I'm giving it a silver just because part of this video is going to be all the things I misunderstood in episode 1 and understood by episode 4. Which, for those of you that don't know what we do here, we unpack stories like this, we review them, come up with concepts of storytelling, and then come up with theories. If all that sounds interesting to you, click that subscribe button and join us. But for now, it's spoiler time. Alright, so the first episode, you get to see these black eyes after he fights the monster, and I'm like, oh, whoa, is he like demon possessed or something? And I'm like, I'm not sure. Is he like the most badass warrior ever? Or is he just a warrior? And then everything that was going on with there's later on a whole time jump thing, that wasn't too bad, but it wasn't fully explained, and it wasn't as easy to pick up on as Westworld was. By the time he gets into the end fight, which was badass and why he's called the Butcher of Blaviken, he does this thing where he creates like lightning in his fingers, and no one backs off. So I'm all like, oh, this must be a world full of magic. Like, magic must be relatively common. And the fact that there's a town wizard kind of gives that away too, or at least makes it seem like it would be. I mean, this guy is just kind of like walking around and people accept he's the mage of the village. So, like, not like any idiot could do it, but, that's what scholars are, right? The wizards of this world, I guess. And then there's the fact that they make a big deal about his white hair and yellow eyes. So you'd assume, oh, that must be the Witcher trait, the white hair and the yellow eyes. Maybe whatever sort of demon possession stuff is going on. And obviously he's a bit of a ladies' man, he kind of wooed the princess, so maybe he's even that other girl's father. I mean, let's wait and see. But then, episode 2 comes in and we meet Yennefer and we find out a little more about Ciri, and then like episode 3 happens and you're like, wait a minute, what's going on? Like, how is he traveling all these places, having legend build up about him about the Butcher of Blaviken? Meanwhile, Suri isn't even like getting anywhere. Now, this is based on a video game and a series of novels. So let me just quickly tell you what little bit I knew. I knew that there were video games that my friend played, and that he thought that Gerald was badass. And that's all I knew. Oh yeah, and I think I knew something about alchemy. I didn't know there were bards in this, I didn't know there were anything. But this seemed so awesome. But then, like I said, episode 4 comes in and you realize that, the Butcher of Blaviken was him getting a bad thing, and then the Bard came in and was like fixing that. Toss a coin to your witch. Alright, I won't sing again. But then, like, this guy's a wizard too, and obviously he knows something about what's going on with Ciri. Like, and then there's that whole, little twist where in episode 7 we find out what he was doing when he went away. But even then, like, there's a lot of questions I have. Like, I needed to look up, like, maps of the world and find out how badass this queen really was. And how the kingdoms interacted, because the story really kind of left that hanging. Now, in some ways, that's good because it hooked me to want to go find out more and want to go read the books and want to go. Okay, I can't play the video games. Like the video games look awesome, but I I suck at video games. Like I'll never make it through the tutorial probably, but that's okay. I can watch let's plays of the video game. But at the same time, like I said, there's just so much about this story that kind of got left. And part of this is really good because it was really fast paced and things just kept happening. But part of this was bad because part of that fast pace was missing stuff. Episode 4 could have really been episode 1, where we find out that, hey, there can't be any more Witchers. Hey, Witchers are unique. Hey, his white hair makes him unique for being a Witcher. All of those things that kind of just got left on the first episode floor. And we didn't even really meet any of the sorceresses. And I still don't understand what the difference between a wizard, a sorceress, and what Ciri is. Although someone online did say something that I guess is kind of spoilery for season 2 if they follow the game storyline, so I won't say too much. Overall, the story obviously revolves around these three, and they make up the most dysfunctional family ever. But it's kind of cool. I love the whole idea of this is how they become parents, by kind of like adopting. Now, having said that, there's part of me that wonders, and please leave me a comment if you can imagine, like, is there a way that that law of surprise isn't just trying to get a child bride out of it? I mean, I'm trying to imagine how many things you could know that you, or not know that you have, but you already have, other than a pregnant wife. Maybe that could have been played out a little more, exactly what the law of surprise or the bound of surprise or whatever it was supposed to actually be. Meanwhile, and was I alone in thinking her eyes were a little messed up, by the way? Like, there was something freaky about them. I'm not sure if the actress has weird eyes or if the character is supposed to, because again, I don't fully understand Ciri's powers. And that's probably my biggest disappointment. I don't understand. I really don't get what's going on with several of these things. And now I'm going and looking up games and books in order to try to figure that out. So while I'm off to look up The Last Wish, which I've told the first of the short stories of The Witcher, let's talk about where the story ended, though, and the fact that there was a lot that changed. So this Gerald, the guy who doesn't believe in destiny, the guy who just wants to get along, well, he finds a higher purpose. Then he also finds the love of his life. But then he loses the love of his life. And he's constantly running from his destiny. And it, did they ever explain the black eyes? Like, was did I miss that? Because like sometimes when he drinks potions, they appear and sometimes they don't. And I don't see other people drinking potions. So someone said something about that being only a Witcher thing, that they're the only ones that can take the alchemical potions, but that didn't make a lot of sense to me, so I wasn't too sure. Like I said, I really wanted this to be gold, but as you can hear, all those questions leave this at a silver. But if you're more of a fan of the video games or more of a fan of the books, or preferably a fan of both, let me know what you thought about this. Because where this definitely has me hooked, and definitely has me wanting to learn more about the world, it does disappoint me that, in some ways, things got thrown at us so fast that I didn't. And I'll be eagerly waiting for your information down in the comment section. Maybe I'll even do a follow-up video where I do more than just complain, since I really did like this and thought that the action was really good. But for now, it's time for me to ask you to like, share, and subscribe. You know, all the things all the YouTubers do. And give a big shout out thank you to all of my Patreons. For those of you that are here new, I hope that you give us a chance. Talk to me. Let's make this a conversation about The Witcher, the good, the bad, and the ugly. For now, I hope you have a good night, and thank you for walking with me through the heart of the stories we tell.